Good morning. So I've decided to keep a little rules sheet up here on my screen. You can see it on the second monitor. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's down. I could probably point an arrow at it. Down like there somewhere. Anyway, just a short rule sheet to keep me on. And then I have a 15-minute timer that I'm starting right now. That is going to go off every 15 minutes to remind me to go through and read this sheet. And you can hear that there. It's kind of very annoying, but that's the point. Well, it's not the point for it to be annoying, but it's just supposed to remind me. So let's go through. Just start off today. So first off, be objective. 2, trade what you see and not what you think. So again, that's part of being objective. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. So seek understanding first, and then let the entries kind of come to me naturally. Wait for the easiest entries when all the context aligns. I'm shooting for profitability. I'm not looking to be the best best trader ever. And then here's a few no's here, a few key rules. It says no looking at any other Discord channels except for the main room, and this is referring to Thomas Wade's Discord. I recently joined his premium section, so no looking at any of the other Discord channels than that one. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. Sometimes I will start something will come to mind. I want to look it up. No doing that. No looking at the live stream. No looking at Spotify either. I can't be going through music. Nothing that distracts me like that. So those are my no's. Now, if Thomas has a trend drawn, then I will also draw it the same way. So realize that he knows better than I am. He is better than I am. So I'm going to follow his trends, and I'm going to work on one thing at a time. So the idea there is that I just want to work on the setups themselves and not have to worry about the trends. Just work on one thing at a time. It's enough just to try and pick the right setups, and much less try and, think that I'm better than him and pick the right trends too. So that's the idea there. To only trade good PATS signal bars. So hold on. So no inside bars, no double bar entries, and each bar has to be a good signal bar. So ideally that means it's closing within 2 ticks of its high or low, and the body is at least a couple ticks. So preferably you like to see full bodied bars. Take longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, the trend line, or a support and resistance level. So one of those 3 things has to be true, and ideally you want to see multiple of those things true all at once. Don't take the first second entry after an overshoot or a break a new extreme. Must wait on at least a higher low or lower high afterwards, or you could also take a failure or wait until there's a push and then take the second entry after that. But do not take that first second entry. Now here's the context that I will take an entry in. I will take an entry in a trend. I will take an entry looking for a break in new extreme of a trend, and I will take an entry after the EMA is held strongly and a clear and obvious bias. So in this case, this is not a perfect example, but let's say there was a downtrend here. If prices came back and they were holding the EMA and pushing away from it strongly, then maybe something like this entry here, because you can see even though prices had this break in new extreme, they're coming back and they're holding that EMA strongly. So maybe you can consider that as like a triple test there. So that's what I mean by that one. And then the setups that I will take second entries. I will take failed second entries. I will take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, or a higher low or lower high after 2 clear legs back. So let's say if you get this 2 clear legs back, and then a push below the EMA, and then a lower high, I would look to enter right there. Now I have to delete all these arrows. So basically in a trend, looking for a break in new extreme, or in a strong bias, looking for second entries, failed second entries, higher low or lower high after a second entry, or 2 clear legs back. So that's basically it there. And I'll be reading that off again in approximately 10 minutes, I believe. Yeah, about 11. Let's check out what things look like today. Looks like it's pretty clear today. 2 legs there, 2 legs there. Downtrend break new low, goes into this range, and prices are kind of struggling to go above the EMA there, so there might be a slight bearish bias here. So downtrend gets a break a new low, prices struggle to get above the EMA. They do get above it a little bit. This just creates 2 legs, and the prices are back below the EMA, so there could be a slight bearish bias there. But I'm not looking to take any entries, not right now. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go make a cup of tea. So here we are breaking lower out of this range. So I would say there's an overall bearish bias here. All right, that was the timer. So rules: be objective, trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all the context aligns. Basically, don't be a hero. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. That's Thomas Wade's main room. No looking at any other web page than this rule set. And no looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, I will also draw it the same way. No going rogue off of my own. He knows better than I do. Only take good price action trading system, PATS signal bars, no inside bars or double bar entries. Longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, trend line, or a support or resistance level. Don't take the first second entry after an overshoot or a break into extreme. Must wait on at least a lower high or lower high afterwards. Also can take a failure, or if there's another push, then take a second entry or something like that. The context that I will take, I'll take a trade in a trend, I'll take a trade looking for a break into extreme, or I'll take it after the EMA is held strongly. After the EMA is held strongly in a clear and obvious bias, even after a trend has played out. So, you know, I'm not going to go over it, but I know what I mean. And then the setups that I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, or I'll take a higher low or lower high after something that looks like two clear legs back. So reading that off every 15 minutes. So changing this trend because this is how Thomas has it drawn. he's looking at that. It's 2 legs back there, so downtrend, break. 1, 2 legs back. Now you have the new low. Okay, so I don't think that that trend is correct. Maybe you can draw a downtrend like this that has a closeout side and a new low. In this case, all the downtrends have played out, so I'm not looking for any shorts. We'll see if prices are able to get above the EMA here. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see if that's going to happen. More like. Let's take a look to see if there are any news, or there's any news today. Let's see. And looks like at 10 a.m. there's some manufacturing PMI. So let's set a little timer to remind me 10 minutes before that. So set that at 9:50 a.m. This might be very loud. Let's find out. That's kind of loud. Okay, so I have that alarm set for 9:50. Okay, interesting. So we came back within this range, and we've rejected pretty strongly off the EMA here. I was wondering if we were going to push up and through, but obviously not. So we might get some further downward action. So, gotta look at the rules again. First, I'm gonna draw this little downtrend here. So be objective, trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all the context aligns. Don't be a hero, basically. No looking at any other Discord channels in the main room. No looking at any other web pages than the rule set. Of course, today I did end up setting another alarm. And as far as the Discord goes, I did end up looking at the news. I feel like both those are acceptable, so I'm okay with that. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas is a trend drawn, then I'll also draw it the same way. Don't go rogue. Only use good PATS signal bars, no inside bars or double bar entries, longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, a trend line or support or resistance level in order to take an entry. Don't take the first, second entry after an overshoot or break into extreme. Must wait on at least a higher, lower, high confirmation afterwards. In the context I'll take a trade and a trend. I'll take a trade looking for a break and new extreme. I'll take one after the EMA is held strongly and a clear and obvious bias. And the setups I'll take are a second entry, failed second entry, higher, lower, high after a second entry, and higher, low, or lower, high after two clear legs back, like larger legs back. Don't think that's correct. Let's remove that range and just draw this as resistance. So this is starting to resemble a clear and obvious bias. As you can see, prices are continuously rejecting off the EMA, even though there's already a close outside and a new low. So there could be a case to take a short potentially. Could even be a downtrend like this. let's look for that second leg down. It looks like we might be working our way towards that. So first leg here, second leg would bring us all the way down there. It does look like Thomas has the same one, except for his is just a little bit expanded like that. So let's change that up just a tad. So we are looking for a second entry short now. This is really looking like a strong trend here. You can see all these small dojis working lower, failing to come back to the EMA. So here we have a new low. We're looking for a second entry short. So possibility to get a second entry short here. It is looking pretty congested though, because you have this big bullish bar, pretty big bullish bar, and then 1, 2, 3 stacked dojis. You have a fourth stacked bar within this bar. So we'll see what happens, but could get a second entry short. Also looks like there could be some resistance coming across that area there. All right, gonna take a look at the rules. Be objective, trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all of the context aligns. Basically, don't be a hero. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set, which is this one. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, I'll also draw it the same way. No point in trying to master two things at once. Only take good PATS signal bars, no inside bars or double bar entries. Longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA, unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level, must be touching the EMA, trend line, or a support or resistance level to take a trade. Don't take the first, second entry after an overshoot or a break a new high. Must wait on at least a higher low or lower high afterwards. The context that I will trade in a trend, I will trade looking for a break a new extreme, and I will trade after the EMA is held strongly in a clear and obvious bias. The setups I will trade second entries, failed second entries, higher low or lower highs after second entry, and higher low or lower high after 2 clear legs back. And that is it. That's all I'm trading. This right here would be a second entry short, but you're going right into these lows, and the signal bar is not very good. So that would be, here you can see 0. First entry, second entry short, no room to the lows. You're going right into those lows. Signal bar, again, is not very good, so it's not something that I can take. Now here you have the new low. That's really loud. I'm gonna have to work on that. Okay, so no trading for the next at least 10 minutes to wait and see what happens with this news item here. What am I looking for? We'll draw a little rectangle. Starting here. And we'll see what happens with this news item. Okay, looks like Thomas has extended his downtrend. So I will do the same. We have this. He has it extended out here. I think the reason is because it didn't push up and through the EMA there. And look at how prices are clearly holding something right here and not coming back to the EMA. So I can see why you put that. Fits perfectly on this side as well. So we're still looking for a second entry short, but we're not trading for the next at least 5 minutes to see what happens with the news here. That's what this blue square is. So as much as I would want to take a second entry short here, I can't do it because of the news. We'll see what happens with the news. This is a pretty clear close outside of this downtrend, so you know, if the news is basically a non-event, nothing really happens, maybe we can look for some sort of lower high or failed second entry, looking for the break-in new low of the downtrend. That is a new high there. for that short-term uptrend. Break new high. And let's see what's going to happen. The news. Okay, so obviously we're getting some sort of reaction from the news there. Let's mark this as a double top. Now we have a new low, so this really needs to go over here. I forgot to move it. Okay, now that this is played out as a break and new low, we're looking for a possible reversal or for prices to hold the EMA and continue to the downside. Okay, the rules. Be objective, trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all the context aligns. Don't be a hero. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a downtrend drawn or a trend drawn, I will also draw it the same way. Only take good PATS signal bars, no inside bars or double bar entries. Longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, a trend line, or a horizontal support and resistance line. Don't take the first, second entry after an overshoot or break a new extreme. Must wait on at least a higher low or lower high afterwards. The context that I will take a trade in a trend, looking for a break in new extreme after the EMA is held and a clear and obvious bias. And the setups that I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after two clear legs. And that's it. I would say the news event is probably over now, so that's the window that we can't take any trades. In fact, I might change this to red. I like that. Okay, so you can see even after the break in new low, prices tried to trade up above the EMA. They did just a little bit, and then they kept moving down. They're moving down strongly. We've passed this measured move, so it might be okay to continue to look for some shorts. So you can see the break in new low here. Wouldn't want to take the first, second entry short. Also, it's an inside bar, so I wouldn't take it anyway. But now there's the potential to take another short here. Okay, want to see what's going to happen here. Is the EMA going to hold, or are we going to push up and through it? It's possible that this break and new low here was more so just a intermediary, and then this is the true break and new low. So let's see what's going to happen. Okay, potential for a second entry here. Well, this wouldn't actually be the second entry. After this bar would. So we have the first entry, then we break higher here. So potential for a second entry. Oops, can't take that on the signal bar, so we're looking for some sort of lower high now. Okay, so we've reached a new low there. Obviously not going to get a lower high, but we have rejected off the EMA, so obviously continue to look for second entry shorts or lower highs. I guess you could get a failed second entry. You have a first entry, you could get a second entry, but by the time prices would have traded all the way back to the EMA, I'm not going to want to take that failure. Prices have already pushed down, I've already missed the push phase. The next one's going to basically be a first entry. rules. Be objective. Trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all of the context aligns. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, I will also draw it the same way. Only good PATS signal bars, no inside bars or double bar entries. Longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, trend line, or support or resistance level. Don't take the first, second entry after an overshoot or break into extreme. You must wait on at least a lower high or higher low. Context that I'll take entries in a trend. I'll take entries looking for a break in new extreme. And I'll take entries after the EMA has held strongly in a clear and obvious bias. So this would be an example. The downtrend has a break in new low, but the EMA is clearly holding here and the bias is obviously down. So I'm still looking for entries. Setups I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher lower or lower high after second entry, I'll take a higher lower lower high after two clear legs. So right now, technically, you could say that you have a first entry, second entry, but really this is a double bottom. So I'm going to treat this as a first entry, and maybe I'll look for a second entry after that. So again, technically this could be a second entry, but I don't think that it truly is. Again, this is a double bottom. So yes, you could count this as a first entry, second entry, and that is valid, but it really looks like a double bottom. So I'm treating this as a first entry, and then I'm gonna look for a second entry after this bar. Okay, so we have your first entry, and there's the potential for a second entry on this bar right here. Bias is obviously down, even though you have that break in new extreme. Prices came back, they touched the EMA, and they turned away very strongly. So that's why I'm still considering taking a short here. Let's go ahead and zoom way in. No good signal bar. So in order to consider this, prices will at least have to tick up and touch this high right here, and then turn down and make a bearish bar. So if prices break below this bar right here, it's not a good signal bar, but if we turn down, okay, so now we've ticked above, so that's great. If we turn down and get a bearish bar, then I'll be looking to enter on a second entry short. It's not what happens again. So again, can't take that signal bar. It's not a good signal bar. It's a doji. It's bullish. Can't do that. And we broke below, so that's our second entry short. Let's see if prices create some sort of lower high to then go lower still. Go and remove that order for the time being. We'll see what happens. Forgot I can scroll. Okay, so you have the potential. Well, never mind. That's not a lower high because that makes a higher high right there. So you have first entry, second entry, you have a higher high. So if you break below again, it's a third entry. It's not what I'm looking for. So I'm not looking for an entry anymore unless you get a second clear leg back. So you have one leg. If you do get some sort of second clear leg back, then I'll start looking for a lower high or a failed second entry again. But right now, I'm not looking for any entries. It's not within my rules. Okay, so we are moving up there. Let's go ahead and look at this second leg up. Could be looking for that 1, 2 legs back. And then again, if we do get that and we push below the EMA again, then I might start looking for a lower high. But need to at least consider the fact that there could be a larger uptrend working here. So that's part of being objective there. Okay, so Thomas has this drawn tighter, so he just has this tighter trend. He also has this drawn as a little range, so I'll draw that as well. And he has a larger downtrend, so let's see where that's coming off of. I think he has it like this. So that's a possibility. And if that is a possibility, which it is, then we'll be looking for a lower high here. So let's zoom on in. And this looks like 2 legs back. You have the short-term uptrend break a new high. Definitely a real possibility. You're still within this downtrend here. So let's look for a lower high. It is congestive, but coming right off the potential trend line and EMA, there could be an entry here. Okay, looks like the signal bar is no good, so we're going to look for a failure. So you have a first entry, look for a push below the EMA, and failed second entry. I have to ask, okay, why? Even after this breaking new high of the short-term uptrend, why are we making another new high here? So again, there could be some sort of larger uptrend still. It's definitely a possibility. I think there's a very real possibility that you have this wider trend working up here, so I don't want to take any kind of lower high or any kind of failure. At least not for the time being. It could possibly just be 2 legs up there, but I don't know. This is an area where I'm just going to sit and I'm going to wait on something more clear. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Just treat this as 2 legs up, and this lower high was definitely a possibility. I wasn't certain, so didn't take it obviously, but that was definitely a possibility there. All right, so be objective, trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all the context aligns. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, then I will also draw it the same way. No going rogue. Only good PATS signal bars, no inside bars or double bar entries. Longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, trend line, or a support resistance level. Don't take the first second entry after an overshoot or a break and new extreme. So in this example, we already have a break and new extreme. So I'm not going to take the next second entry short. I need to wait on a lower high in order to take this, or a higher low if this was an uptrend. The context, I'll take a trade in a trend, I'll take a trade looking for a break and new extreme, or I'll take a trade after the EMA has held strongly and a clear and obvious bias. So this is a pretty clear downtrend. So if prices continue to hold the EMA here, then maybe I'll start looking for another trade. The setups I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, and I'll take a higher low or lower high after 2 clear legs. So this would be an example of a lower high after 2 clear legs. You can see 1, 2 legs up. I just wasn't certain. I thought that there's a potential for a larger uptrend here, so I didn't want to take the risk of taking a lower high there. Maybe I would have taken a failure, but even then, I don't know. Okay, so again, I'm not going to take this next second entry short. I'm going to have to wait on either a lower high or a failed second entry. Also, this would actually be a failed second entry. So first entry, second entry, that's not exactly what I'm looking for. It's a possibility, but this downtrend now has to close outside a new low, so I think that's too risky. I would mark it as a possibility, but I don't think that that's something that I should personally take. You've already made the move you're looking for, so it's really just a first entry anyway. I'm just gonna go and remove that. Pretty big sell-off. It's nothing, I mean, it's nothing too crazy, but well, yeah, 88 points. It's nothing to scoff at. So, as much as it is tempting to take a second entry short here, so let's say if you did come up to the EMA and get a bearish bar, you can't take that because there's already a break a new low for the downtrend, so need to wait on some sort of lower high or something like that, confirming that we're not going to reverse, basically. So let's see. So Thomas is already predicting that this could end up being a range. I think the reason that he might be doing that is because of all this sideways action and how sideways this correction is. So, I mean, other than the fact that you do already have to break a new low on all of the downtrends, so that's obviously one part of it there, but I think the other part is the sideways action. So again, now the lower high is a possibility. It also kind of create a triple test there. This possibility would have to make sure to get out before this low, because you have a first entry, second entry. So if you do get a lower high off the EMA, confirming that you're going to hold below it, then I might be willing to take that. But let's see what's going to happen. Okay, so we are looking for a lower high, but need to make sure to get out before this level. So let's see if it does end here. Have to take it there. That would be the furthest back, or the furthest that you could take this currently. But this does look super congestive. Looks like there could be some support coming into this level here. It's forming a little bit far from the EMA. So I am going to skip that. I'm going to draw this as congestive area. I don't think that you can take that, but it is that lower high. It's just you're entering so far from the EMA, going basically right into these lows. Again, in order to take this one, I'd have to have my order all the way back there. At this point, you're really looking range-like, so I don't think that I can justify that. But it is a lower high because you have a first entry, second entry, you're holding below the EMA, it's a lower high there. So there's a reason to take it, it's just not really a perfect setup. I think it's safe to go ahead and take that range off. Be objective, trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all of the context aligns. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, I will draw it the same way. Only good PATS signal bars, that means no inside bars or double bar entries, and a few other things, but that definitely. Longs above the EMA and shorts below the EMA unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, trend line, or a support or resistance level. Don't take the first, second entry after an overshoot or break into extreme. You must wait on at least a higher low or lower high afterwards. The context I'll take trades in a trend. I'll take trades looking for break a new extreme. I'll take trades after the EMA is held strongly and a clear and obvious bias. So this would be an example. There's already a downtrend. Prices come back. They're holding the EMA. The downtrend is clear and obvious. setup. So I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, or I'll take a higher low or lower high after 2 clear legs. So this would be an example. There's 1, 2 legs, and then there's a lower high. Again, I was a little bit uncertain. I thought that there might be a wider trend here, something like this, working higher. So I decided to not take that one. This would be an example of taking a lower high after a second entry, even after there's a break into extreme. So there's a break into extreme, prices come back, they hold the EMA. So you can see even this uptrend is failing to play out. Prices are not able to get up and through the EMA. You have a first entry, second entry, you get a lower high, but it's super congestive, and it was basically right into the lows. So I decided to skip that one as well, but that would have been within the rules. Both of those would have been within the rules. So obviously looking for a second entry short here. That is the main thing so far. Take a look at the daily chart, just in this little range. If we draw this up here, that will probably get a break a new high at some point. basically there's the possibility for a second entry short here. You have a first entry, and well, that creates your second entry right there, and it's too far from the EMA right into these lows, so nothing to do there. I was hoping prices would trade up a little bit higher and come right off the EMA with a nice bearish bar, but that's not what we're getting. It's also a failed second entry long. You have a first entry, second entry long there. You can count this as a double top though, so it's possible that you get a first entry and prices come up, touch the EMA, and you get a failed second entry there. But you got to be extra careful here, because not only are you getting close to these lows, you have what looks like a little range working back there. So this is again, 0, you have a first entry, break lower, and that's a very strong push up. So not what I'm looking for anymore, but you do have 2 legs back. It looks like 2 legs back. So if prices do turn down, maybe there's possibility for some sort of lower high, but right now it's looking not so great. It's a pretty strong push. So you do have 1, 2 legs again. So if you do get some sort of lower high, the nice signal bar kind of coming back within this range, could be looking to take that. You do already have the break and a new low for the downtrend, but well, I guess there's not really about, yeah, there's no trade there. Context I'll take a trade in a trend, take a trade looking for a break in new extreme. I'll take it after the EMA is held strongly in a clear and obvious bias. So this is a pretty clear and obvious bias, but now prices have already made that break a new high, and you've gone strongly above the EMA, so I don't think that is what I'm looking for anymore. Rules: be objective, trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all of the context aligns. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, I will also draw it the same way. Only take good PATS signal bars. That means no inside bars, no double bar entries, and a bunch of other rules that go along with that as well. No longs above the EMA and shorts below, unless you're coming off a proven trend horizontal support or resistance level. You must be touching the EMA trend line or a support resistance level in order to take a trade. Don't take the first, second entry after an overshoot or break a new extreme. You must wait on at least a higher low or lower high afterwards. The context that I'll take a trade in a trend, take a trade looking for a break in new extreme, or after the EMA has held strongly in a clear and obvious bias. So this is none of those scenarios as I just mentioned. The setups I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, or I'll take a higher low or lower high after 2 clear legs back. So this would be an example of the 2 clear legs back and a lower high. This would be an example of a second entry short and then a lower high. So that is that's it. So let's say this is two clear legs. I think this is pretty clear. This short-term uptrend has to break a new high. It's two clear legs. So if we push below the EMA and we get a lower high, I'm still not going to take that. Why not? Because this downtrend already has a break a new low, and you've pushed through the EMA, so it's not a contextual area that I'm willing to take, even though that would be technically a setup that I'm willing to take. Okay, so the short-term uptrend does have a close outside and new high, but look at this, prices came back to the EMA and they pushed away strongly again. So there's the opportunity to potentially take some longs here, and there's a possibility for possibly another trend working higher. Have to see what happens there. Could be something there, but with this, we'll start looking for a second entry long, or a higher low after a failed second entry long, or potentially a failure depending on how it sets up, of course. And why are we willing to take longs even though prices have been kind of in this very strong down bias? Well, because this downtrend has a close outside and it looks like 2 legs to a new low. In fact, I'm going to measure those and I'll bet you it's basically 2 legs down to the tick. To the tick. 2 legs down. Well, almost. 1 tick off. So to break downtrend, break 2 legs down to a new low. Now you have a strong reversal above the EMA and you're pushing higher. So even after the short-term uptrend got a break a new high, you didn't push back below the EMA. You came back, almost touched the EMA, couldn't even touch it, and then took off again. So that's why we're willing to consider some longs. go ahead and remove this uptrend. Don't think that's right, but can still consider some longs again because you pushed away from the EMA here. All depends on whether prices are going to hold the EMA again. So you can see prices are coming back to the EMA. Really, you just want to see, okay, are prices going to hold that, or are they going to push through it? That'll determine whether this is just two-leg correction in the larger downtrend, or whether this is the start of a new uptrend. So, risk factors here, assuming you do get a second entry long. The fact that this already looks like two legs up. You already made two measured legs up, okay. Reasons why you might want to take it anyway, again, because prices are kind of holding above this EMA here. And you're expecting a reversal after this downtrend played out. So, there's a little bit of conflicting evidence, as there usually is. Okay, we're turning higher and we didn't even reach the EMA. That's telling you something. That's telling you, probably, in my opinion, could be a spike channel. You can tell that short-term downtrend couldn't even play out there. Interesting. You could still even get a second entry long if prices pull back down here. But I want to see that come back to the EMA. Unfortunately, if that happens, then that'll probably mean the spike channel's wrong. Okay, so again, might look to take this on two legs back here, especially to the EMA. That'd be a really good setup in my opinion. All right, let's see. So if we trade down here and we touch off the EMA and get a nice bullish bar, there's a good chance that I'll be willing to take this second entry long. Let's see. So, second entry triggers on this bearish bar. So obviously nothing you can do there, but it looks like it might be confirming this spike and channel up. All right, so I'm gonna go and remove this spiking channel because it no longer looks correct to me. Could view this as 2 legs back. Also, you have a new low here. So this is a first entry, second entry, potential failure off the EMA. And again, you're still working higher here. So I don't know if there's a trend, but at least I can tell that you're failing to go through the EMA. All right, I think there's the possibility for a higher low. So to me, this looks like 1 leg back and then 2nd leg back. So if you do get some sort of strong push up and a higher low, then I might consider taking that. Again, it's possible that if prices do push below the EMA, we might be restarting this downtrend though after 2 legs higher. So there is some conflicting information. But look how we stayed above the EMA there. So okay, that was a pretty strong push down. Definitely a good amount of uncertainty. But if we do get that strong push up, I think I'll still be willing to do that. All right, rules. Be objective. Trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all of the context aligns. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, then I will draw it the same way. Only good PATS signal bars, that means no inside bars, no double bar entries. Longs above the EMA and shorts below, unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA trend line or a horizontal support and resistance level. Don't take the first, second entry after an overshoot or break a new extreme. Must wait on at least a higher low or lower high after the overshoot or break a new extreme, if that's the case. Context that I'll take a trade in a trend. I'll take a trade looking for a break in a new extreme, and I'll take a trade after the EMA has held strongly in a clear and obvious bias. The setups I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after 2 clear legs. That's it. Though I don't think this is a true new high there. It's a double top, so you can look at that as a new high. So let's not look for any more longs there. There's a possibility that we're getting a new start on the downtrend. Let's find out. Could go sideways as well. Oops. Could start going sideways. Could get this here. We'll see. So I couldn't tell you exactly why, but Thomas is expecting that the range could be here. The lows are pretty obvious there. The highs don't make as much sense to me though. Maybe just because that's where the trend break is, although I'm not sure. This is definitely a no trade zone though, because now you have this uptrend having a close outside and new high. You don't have any bias to the downside or any reasons to take a short to the downside. So no reason to go long, no reason to go short, just need to sit tight. I think that's a great time for me to go grab a snack. New low for the downtrend there. I would definitely be more tempted to put the range highs here. So I'm curious why put them here. Maybe we're just finding some local resistance up at this level. I wonder why that's so many beeps. Beeps. I think that might have been yeah, that was the end of it. Okay, cool. Rules one more time. Be objective. Trade what you see and not what you think. Don't look for an entry, look for understanding. Wait for the easiest entries when all of the context aligns. No looking at any other Discord channels than the main room. No looking at any other web page than the rule set. No looking at Spotify. If Thomas has a trend drawn, then I will also draw it the same way. Only good PATS signal bars allowed, no inside bars, no double bar entries. Longs above the EMA and shorts below unless you're coming off a proven trend or horizontal support or resistance level. Must be touching the EMA, trend line, or a support or resistance level in order to take a trade. Don't take the first second entry after an overshoot or break into extreme. Must wait on at least a higher low or lower high after these scenarios. The context I'll take a trade in a trend, take a trade looking for a break in new extreme, and I'll take a trade after the EMA is held strongly in a clear and obvious bias. The setups I'll take a second entry, I'll take a failed second entry, I'll take a higher low or lower high after a second entry, or I'll take a higher low or lower high after 2 clear legs back, and that is it. So now I think that's your true new high there. Let's go ahead and take this little range piece off. Keep this support there. It might come into play later, but I think truly now, you had this uptrend. You had a close outside, you had a double top, which could have counted as the new high, but then prices came back and created 2 pushes higher to the true break into extreme there. Okay, so after the break of new high, we get a strong push below the EMA. We are running into the support right here, which looks like, if I were to draw a true range, it looks like that is like the perfect midline. So I might be looking for a second entry short though. Let's see what prices do at this support level. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and draw this as a range for the time being. All right, I like that. I like that strong push down. So looking for, again, that second entry short off the EMA to go lower. Pretty simple price action today for the most part. So I'm looking for a second entry short now, still off of the EMA. So assuming we close higher here, we tick higher, we touch the EMA. Man, this cough is killing me. We touch the EMA and we get a bearish bar, and that's what I'll be looking for. So looking for prices to trade up, again, touch the EMA, and then trade a bearish bar to take a second entry short there. Okay, so that's your second entry short there. You have a first entry, and you broke higher, created that second entry short. Obviously can't take that too far from the EMA, even if this is a bearish signal bar, or ends up being a bearish signal bar, so can't do that. It's also a first entry, second entry failure from the high side. All right, there's your break and new low on the downtrend. So it's possible to still potentially look for some shorts here, like if prices come up and they're holding the EMA and clearly holding the EMA, and maybe there's something to take lower there. You can't take that second entry short, but maybe you could take something after prices do continue to head lower. I'm going to go ahead and hop off though. I think the chances of getting something like that are very low, especially in the next 7 minutes, which is how long I would be trading for. So I'm going to go ahead and call it a day there, and I will be trading, I believe, every day this week. So I will see you guys tomorrow.